I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is a spiritual teacher and an author too, who has spent over 4 decades guiding people towards self-realization and freedom from psychological suffering. No other than Mr. Eli Jaxon-Bear.
Hi. Thank you for having me, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Eli, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
I'm here for one reason. The whole purpose of my life has been one pointed almost since I was 18 years old. I'm now 78. And that's to pass on what I realize myself, and I know that everyone can realize directly. And when you receive it and realize yourself, you can be awake and free. And that's my mission. I started out fighting for civil rights in this country in the 60s during the civil rights movement. And it took me through to the Vietnam War movement, where I put my life on the line to stop the war. And in putting my life on the line to stop the Vietnam War, which was a horror that my government was committing genocide, I had to do everything I could to stop it. And finally, when I was willing to give my life, I died and woke up. And I woke up and realized the truth. I realized reality. I realized who I am, what I am, where I am, when I am, as I am. And in that realization, I knew if everyone could realize this, the world would come to peace, freedom. We treat each other as brothers and sisters. Corruption, greed, need fall away as the heart lives and breathes and leads. Because when the heart leads, it's a whole different realization than when the head leads. So right now, we're in a world of suffering because it's the egoic head that thinks it's in charge, thinks it's in control, and wants to do this and that, to get more, to get better, to get different. Everyone in the world is chasing more, better, and different. And it leads to suffering, it leads to unhappiness. And so finally say enough. I've tried it enough times. I've made enough money. I've had enough, whatever it is, to say, okay, I get it. It doesn't lead to freedom. It doesn't lead to peace. And when you're really willing to tell the truth to yourself, then the world changes. Your focus gets put on what's real and important and essential. Takes off the unnecessary. And in that one-pointed focus, and you realize yourself, the world comes to peace. Your world comes to peace. And it spreads from heart to heart. And that's been my mission. And it is my mission now. And that's why I'm here with you now. Because I have no idea who your audience is or if anybody listens to this or what the deal is. But I know that as long as you have a human birth, you have the possibility to wake up and be free. And there's no religion, there's no practice, there's no anything except your own willingness to see yourself fully. And so your paradox is about searching on the outside for what's already inherently inside. Wherever you search, eventually you have to face yourself. So most of us all start by searching on the outside because that's how we've lived our lives, in a belief that there's a me and a world, and I have to act on the world and get something. I have to get enlightenment, I have to get better, I have to get rich, I have to get sex, I have to get money, I have to get power, I have to get family, I have to get children, whatever it is, I have to get something. That's how we're focused. And so then when you realize that's not working, and there's a lie, everyone is living a lie. When you see that, you wake up from that lie, then you have the possibility to look somewhere else. And you turn your attention towards what's true, what's real. Turn your attention towards love, peace, attention towards freedom. Then you find your root. So inevitably, you have to go inside. Whether you start outside or inside doesn't really matter, because eventually you also have to then come back out. And that's walking the talk. That's living the freedom that's already alive in your heart, instead of going back to the same old, which is usually what happens with spiritual experiences. People wake up, they have a profound experience, and they go back to the next 9 to 5, the next same old. But the possibility is to stay free, to stay awake, to not be seduced by the next coming attraction. So that's why I'm here. How about you? What are you here for?
Mr. Eli Jaxon-Bear, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Let's talk about, well, do we need a teacher? Exploring the paradox of seeking guidance to discover what you already are. The central paradox of your work is the idea of seeking a teacher to discover that you are seeking is already within you. Can you unpack this apparent contradiction for us?
You don't necessarily need an outside teacher. My teacher's teacher was Ramana Maharshi, and he was a completely awake, enlightened being who woke up by himself when he was 16 years old. And he went to his mountain, and he stayed on his mountain for the rest of his life, in bliss and in service and never leaving. And one of his devotees was my teacher. And so I have a lineage of this being passed from Ramana Maharshi to my teacher to me. But that's just this particular. That's nothing to do with what anybody else needs. We each have our own way. But if you have the question, do I need a teacher? The answer is yes. It's like if you want to learn how to repair a car, do you need a teacher? Well, you could try to do it yourself and you could figure it out perhaps, but it might not work as well, or it might take longer, or you may never get the result you want. But if you know someone who's a skilled mechanic who can teach you and train you, yes, why not? So I've had many teachers, beautiful teachers along the way. I mean, I love my Taoist teacher. I spent 3 years with my Taoist teacher. I was in a Zen monastery in Japan. I've had such beautiful experiences and teachers till I finally found the final one. The teacher of silence, not of practice, not of power, not of doing, not of getting, but of giving everything to silence and surrendering fully what's the known world to realize directly your own experience without doubt of what's real when everything disappears, when everything fades away. What's left? What's untouched? And this is possible for everybody, but then you have to be wanting and willing. You have to be willing to give up your suffering. Most people are addicted to their suffering, their pleasures. So if you're born in a prison, you learn to make the best of it. You learn where the best jobs are. You learn how to get the best food and how to stay safe and which is the best cell and who's got the best bed. And you make deals. You trade this for that to get a better this or a different that. And that's the life that people are living today. Born in a prison, making the best deal they can. But the possibility is a jailbreak. The possibility is to not be constrained by the thought form, the deep trance that the whole world is engaged in. See, because there's a personal trance, there's a family trance, there's a cultural trance, there's a country trance, and there's a world trance. And one is inside the other. And we have to start with the personal trance to wake up from that. And sometimes you start by seeing through the cultural trance. If you're born into a religion, nobody chooses religions. Usually they're born into them. But you're born into a religion, and then sometime, at some point, you see through it. You see that it's not what it says it is. That's waking up from that trance. And that's alienation. At that point, you're separate. You feel alienated from that religion that was so close to you. You could have lived your life and given your life for your whole life to this belief in this religion. And then suddenly one day you wake up and you realize, oh, I made a mistake. It's not real. And that shattering is what allows the possibility for something unknown to enter. And so we all have to be disabused of our illusions, whether it's whatever it might be. We all live in a group trance, and it's possible to wake up from it. And when you wake up, then you have the possibility to live a life of freedom. But then you have to be willing to stay true in the midst of everything. Because once you wake up, the samadhi, the realization eventually passes, and the body returns, body consciousness returns. But that doesn't touch anything. Or it does. That's the razor's edge. That's the possibility to stay awake after realization.
Mr. Eli.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Mr. Eli, is the ultimate function of a true teacher to make themselves obsolete? Is the goal a kind of a holy betrayal, or where the student outgrows the need for the guide?
Okay, so I think we have a different understanding of what a teacher is. So in Sanskrit, there's two names. There's guru and there's satguru. The guru is a teacher. And this is the teacher that can be a guide. This is a teacher that can teach you yoga. This is a teacher that can give you the teachings, that can read the sutras, that can have you chanting or meditating or going on retreats or doing whatever it is. That's the teacher. The Satguru is something else. The Satguru is the transmission directly from heart to heart, the silent transmission of freedom. And that is something that is untouchable, irreplaceable, irreducible. It's not needed necessarily, but when it happens, there's no leaving it. I'm still at my teacher's feet. My teacher died, I don't know how many years ago, but I am, as long as there's this form, this body, then it's in prostration to my teacher. That's how I live. And I live such a happy, fulfilled, overwhelmingly blissful life that beyond imagination, beyond anything I could have imagined, beyond anything it's just, beyond belief, really. That's the nature of love. Love, if you give yourself to love, love eats you. And then you are love. And then love expresses itself through this form. And then you're happy. And the people around you are happy. That's the possibility. Then the world will come to peace. Then the egoic neurosis will fade away. It's not real. It's just a bad dream that everyone's involved in. It's a thought form. And it's not real, but you give your life to it and it becomes your reality. And that's the situation we're in today. Everyone has given their life to a dream and made that dream a reality, my world. And so you live in your world and you try to fix it, you try to change it, you try to make it better, you try to be enlightened in it, you try to bring your enlightenment to it. But that's all just wasting your time. There's only silence, truly, and love, intelligent love. Silent, intelligent love doesn't need to do anything, doesn't need to prove anything, doesn't need to make anything, doesn't need to fix anything. Just the willingness to be as you are. That's all that's required.
Mr. Eli, as a spiritual teacher, as an author, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
I'm sorry, what was the last? As a spiritual teacher and an author, what?
What are your short-term and long-term goals?
I don't have any short-term or long-term goals. My goal in my life was to first of all, my goal was to stop the war in Vietnam. I gave myself to that 100%. That was my goal. And in giving my life to it fully, I woke up and received a different goal for the world to wake up and be free, for everyone, heart to heart, to receive the possibility that you can wake up and be free. So that became my goal. And that's still my goal. And it's not short term or long term, it's just the way I live my life.
Mr. Eli, what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Mm-hmm. If you want to be like me, what does that mean to be like me? It means to be happy. It means to be filled with love and intelligence. It means not to be stupid, not to be ignorant, not to be wasting your time, not to be chasing idle pursuits, not to be wasting your time on anything that isn't love itself. If you give yourself 100% to love, love will take you all the way through. By love, I don't mean the emotion. I don't mean the heart. I don't mean your head. I don't mean your body. I mean something deeper, transcendental, before all of that. That is your true heart. So when you give yourself back to your true heart, everything is resolved. Everything takes care of itself quite naturally. When you're not involved, things move very smoothly. Everything unfolds in its own way. That's our possibility. And to be like that is to just be willing for whatever it takes. Because all of the temptations will come. You'll be scared. It's unknown. Still, are you willing, even if you're terrified? Are you willing for a jailbreak if it means who knows what? You don't know what it's like living on the outside. Are you willing? That's the test. And the depth of your willingness reveals the depth of your soul. And when you're willing all the way, you are revealed to yourself all the way. And when you see yourself and realize yourself all the way, you know who you are and what what the world is. Then you're seeing from the other side. And you're awake. You can live life fully.
Mr. Eli, can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Actually, no books influenced me on my journey, but the book that I would recommend is Wake Up and Roar. It's my teacher's teaching. It's the direct way. It's the way to self-realization without practice, without anything else except your own willingness. So that's what I would recommend.
Thank you for that recommended book, Mr. Eli. And let's talk about On the Path. The phrase the path is the goal is often used in the context of your exploration. Does a path even exist, or is this just another conceptual trap?
Well, it's neither one of those. So in truth, there is no path and there's no one to take a path. But in the appearance of samsara, there appears to be a path and there appears to be someone taking a path. So to deny the illusion of the appearance is to deny a part of reality. So it's like you can't skip from emptiness to form and impose one on the other. Each is real. Each is an appearance. Each appears. Empty and form both appear in the substance of nothing, the emptiness, yourself. And so in that, all arisings can be met. Then you don't have to struggle.
Interesting indeed, Mr. Eli. And in our modern digital age, we have unprecedented access to teachings from all traditions. Has
Yes,
this abundance made genuine discovery easier or more confusing?
I have no idea. It's really not my business. I know that whoever is searching will find something, and the depth of the seeker will determine the depth of the teacher. And when you're willing to go all the way, if you need a teacher will appear. And I think it's fantastic, all the teachings that are available in the world. I think it's great. I mean, when I went to find my teacher in India, there was no internet, there was no cell phones, there was no way of knowing where I was going or what I would find. And so, in a way, there's something that's been lost, but something else has been gained. And I'm not here to judge it one way or another. I'm just happy that I was able to be in the world before it. And I'm very interested in being in the world of it. So, as for the path, the only illusion of a path is for the path to end. And when the path ends, that's where you want to be. And so rather than walking the path, you can go directly to the end. That's my teacher's teaching. If you're on a spiritual path, it can end here, now, in this moment, in your full willingness to stop. That's all that's required. Full stop, here and now. And everything else reveals itself.
Mr. Eli, if there is no separate self to improve, or how do we make sense of personal growth?
There is no personal growth, but there is a sense of self, just inside out.
How to become a better person instead?
Well, why would you want to become a better person? So you have to look at the motivation. People have different ideas of what it means. But if you look at the basic egoic motivations, people want to become a better person because they feel shame, or they feel guilt, or they feel anger, or because they have desires for something that they can't get without being a better person, or there's all kinds of motivations. But the truth is, to be a better person is to be in integrity with yourself. So to be in full integrity with yourself is to stay so true to yourself that you don't waver with the next thought, the next belief, the next idea. That's integrity. So when you give yourself to love, for example, and you have the integrity to stay true to that, when the temptations come along to knock you off the path, you have integrity to stay true. Not because you're rigid, but because you're flexible. Because everything can move and be unmoving. That's the possibility for true integrity. And then integrity naturally leads to a better human being. You'll be more gentle. You'll be more kind. You'll be easier. You'll be less stressed. There'll be no stress. That's the
Mr.
possibility.
Eli, yes, Mr. Eli, many traditions speak of grace or a sudden, unexpected awakening. Where does
Yes,
human effort and and grace begin in this discovery?
it's all grace. It's really all grace. You can't make it happen. You see, if you were to make it happen, that would mean that the ego made it happen, and the ego can't make it happen. The ego could only surrender. And then grace takes over, so that there's nothing that you can do. But that doesn't mean that you just wander off aimlessly with nothing to do. It means that you give everything to the moment of possibility, so the grace can have you. So the grace can take you because you're not involved anywhere else. You're not previously engaged. Then you're open for grace. And then grace will take you, because what is grace but your own heart loving you? That's what grace is. Your own heart of pure, intelligent love, loving this form enough to bring it back home, to have it return to itself, to realize itself. So yes, grace is all there is. I'm so grateful. And part of the way you know that you're happy, confirming sign, is when you're grateful for everything. You're happy and grateful. Grateful is a kind of graceful. It's a giving back to grace.
Mr. Eli, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my Abstract Essay is already in fifth season, Abstract Poetry in second season, and my Book 101 review in fifth season too, Comedy 101 in second season, and my Food 101 in fifth season as well, Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. So, Mr. Eli, for someone listening or watching right now who feels a deep longing but is skeptical of all teachers and path, what would you simplest, most direct pointer be?
Okay. I've been around since the 60s. I've seen all the abuse of gurus and ashrams. And so, quite naturally, we are skeptical of that. But that's not what is necessary. Forget gurus, forget ashrams. What you need is your own self-realization, which means your own willingness to look directly into yourself, to tell the truth all the way through, to not sell out, to not believe your own propaganda, to not believe your own story and version of reality, but to have a silent mind, an open heart, and have awareness directly find awareness. That's all.
Mr. Eli Jaxon-Bear, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Hoping for more and more and more advocacy to come. So can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your projects, or your books itself?
Just be happy. Be peaceful and happy and love each other with a quiet mind and an open heart. That's all that I need. That's all that I ask for.
Yes, people, be happy because happiness bring you something else in your life. So, Mr. Eli, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Daniel. It was fun.
Yes, fun indeed. More to come, people. See you soon.